it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
Remember the time that him and his mama kissed each other on the lips? Do you remember that both of them was getting an IV at the same time? That's from the Diddy Freak Off party.
Lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to something
City.
called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Okay, stop everything, because you are not ready for this level of drama. Everyone's been glued to the courtroom chaos swirling around Diddy, but no one, and I mean no one, saw this coming. Out of nowhere, Usher has jumped into the fire with straight up nuclear level receipts that could blow the entire case wide open. And baby, Usher's not just tossing shade or throwing tiny pebbles. No, ma'am. He's showing up with tapes. We're talking about recorded voicemails, explosive convos, and voice memos that could expose Diddy for things the public has never even imagined. Now, here's where jaws dropped. Insiders say Diddy did Usher so dirty back in the day, it actually put Usher in the hospital. Yes, the hospital. Let's be crystal clear before we dive into the hot mess. This tea is straight from leaked reports, online whispers, and allegedly damning testimonies. So if this flips everything you thought you knew upside down, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just the gossip courier. So why is Usher finally talking after all these years? Well, allegedly, he was buried in NDAs, smothered in hush money, and bullied into silence for decades. But now, baby, he's done. Usher is allegedly ready to burn it all down with 20 years of receipts. We're talking dirt dating back to 2004. Secret convos, phone calls, voicemails, things Diddy probably thought would never see the light of day. And now, with the courtroom heating up and A-listers being dragged in one by one, don't be surprised if Usher becomes the star witness. Because this isn't just about what he saw, it's about what he survived. Way before Cassie, before the lawsuits, before the social media explosions, Usher was deep in Diddy's twisted world. He didn't stumble into the madness, he was raised inside of it. Allegedly, Usher moved into Diddy's house at just 14 years old. That's right, a literal child. And that's where it all began. The wild parties, the weird auditions, the camera setups. And let's not forget the flavor camp. Yes, that was a thing. And Usher, he wasn't just another kid chasing stardom. According to sources, he was a victim. And now, all these years later, he's ready to scream the truth to the world. Let's rewind, shall we? Usher, freshly signed to LaFace Records by L.A. Reid, was 13 or 14. The industry already had his eyes on him, the voice, the look, the IT factor, but instead of protecting him, L.A. Reid made a decision that would haunt Usher for decades. He sent him to live with Sean Puffy Combs. Yes, Diddy. And this wasn't some glamorous mansion sleepover. This was Diddy's house, the infamous home that insiders claim was basically a party palace for predators.
Yeah, Usher. I met him when he was 14, and you know, my book actually opens with that because it was one of the highlights in my career. At 14 years old, this young guy comes walking into my office and he starts singing. And I stop him early and say, wait a minute, hold up, this is too good. I need to go get some girls. So I bring all the girls from the office in, and Usher drops down on one knee and starts singing it to the prettiest girl in the room and starts seducing her with his eyes. He's 14.
Yeah.
And he has no fear, no anxiety, no nervousness, and he goes in and he nails it. And I'm like, okay, thank you, and welcome to LaFace Records.
Even L.A. Reid later admitted he wasn't sure if sending Usher there was bold or just straight up reckless, because what went down in that apartment was the stuff of nightmares. One insider came forward and claimed that whatever happened inside those walls landed Usher in the emergency room. Yup, the ER. And at first, no one was naming names. It was all hush hush. But behind the scenes, people were whispering that someone was bleeding badly, and that someone was Usher. This isn't just messy gossip. This was industry talk before anyone even connected the dots to Usher's name. The pain, the trauma, it was real, and it was already happening.
I know, and people know, that was around that in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that you gonna give him a pass? Bruh, you know I know. Let me reframe you on something. Remember Usher?
Back then, Usher was just a baby in the game. 13 years old, no clue what kind of hell he was walking into. He once spoke in an interview about being shipped off to Diddy's infamous flavor camp at just 13. He lived there for a year, an entire year, a kid alone in an adult world filled with danger, sex, alcohol, and God knows what else, cameras, strange auditions, and no protection in sight.
Lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to
City.
something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
And when Usher was later asked about what really went down in that house, he didn't go full tell-all, but baby, he didn't deny it either. He called the energy in the house wild, said it was full of women. He dropped just enough hints to let the world know what he saw back then was messed all the way up, and it's only now that Usher's realizing how off it all was.
It was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you
I
seeing?
went there to see the lifestyle,
Right.
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty.
Oh, and let's talk about that creepy slip-up that still haunts the internet. There's a live stream clip where Diddy accidentally admitted that he and Usher used to wake up together. Yup, he said it, then immediately backtracked like he knew he messed up, tried to cover it with a lame joke about arguing over Frosted Flakes, but by then it was too late. The look on everyone's faces in that room, absolutely stiff, shocked, uncomfortable, like they couldn't believe what just came out of his mouth.
My brother right here from day one, we used to wake up and, damn, pause, but like, just out. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early with me. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And
What the f did Puff just say?
But honey, it gets worse. A report came out claiming that Usher once sat at a dinner table with Diddy, Neo, Jimmy Iovine, and Cassie. And at that very table, Diddy allegedly punched Cassie in the stomach right in front of everyone. And nobody said a word. Not Neo, not Jimmy, not even Usher. People called that silence bone-chilling, especially knowing that Usher has a daughter. Watching him freeze like that, say nothing in the face of abuse, says so much about how deep Diddy's control really ran. These weren't just stars. They were prisoners, trapped mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And for Usher, that silence followed him for years. That trauma shaped every part of his career until now. Now he's breaking the silence and finally ripping off the mask. But here's the darkest twist in all of this. After surviving all that horror, Usher unintentionally continued the cycle. Because after crawling out of Diddy's twisted world, Usher brought Justin Bieber into it. Yes, you heard right. Justin was only 13, just like Usher had been, and Usher introduced him to L.A. Reid. Reid even said Usher gave him Justin as a gift. Think about that. A 13-year-old kid handed off to the same pipeline that almost destroyed Usher.
Bieber walks into my office as a gift from Usher, who called a few minutes before and said, "Hey, I'm coming to your office at 3 o'clock. I have a very special gift for you." And he shows up with Justin Bieber.
And L.A. Reid, he straight up called Justin beautiful. Then came the bombshell. Diddy allegedly got temporary guardianship over Justin for 48 hours. What kind of industry move is that?
You know, where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
I'm going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you want to do? What you want to do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go get some girls.
But it didn't end there. Ustin reportedly spent unsupervised time with Diddy, even partied with him while he was still just 15. And there's video proof. Real clips exist of Diddy asking Justin strange, inappropriate questions, even warning him not to talk about what went down. Creepy doesn't even begin.
Introduce her to my mom. You call Mom Dukes.
Hi.
She's getting a drip with me. She's hydrating. What's up, Ma?
Everything's good, baby. I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
One clip even has Diddy asking if Justin was wearing a wire. Like, he knew something shady was happening. Like, he was scared of getting exposed. And now, people aren't letting Usher off the hook. Commenters are slamming him, saying Usher was Diddy's first. And by bringing Justin into that world, he became no better than Diddy himself. It's a horrifying legacy, one that's finally being unraveled piece by piece. And we haven't even reached the worst part. Let's talk about Freddie P, another name tangled in this horrifying web. He came forward too, alleging that Diddy even manipulated his own son. Yep, his own child. The control didn't stop at industry proteges. It allegedly extended into Diddy's own bloodline. According to Freddie P, Diddy would keep his son close, isolate him from his real father, and flood him with gifts not out of love, but control. Control to the point where that child would never question anything, never rebel, just obey. Let that sink in. Diddy allegedly raised the very people who could have exposed him and turned them into loyal protectors. That's not parenting. That's programming. And this protection circle was apparently so tight, so choreographed, even family wasn't safe. This isn't just some chaos from the past. It's starting to look like a full-blown system, built from the ground up to keep Diddy's secrets locked in a vault, surrounded by people too traumatized or too indebted to say a word. But it gets even more twisted.
It's more deeper questions that I be wanting to know, like, why were you so infatuated with a child that wasn't yours? Were you that little boy? I don't even want to start those conversations because that's not your child. You know what I'm saying? And for you to keep him that close, it's like you kept him that close because he might got your secrets because he's not your child. So if he's not your child and you that type of person with that type of character, you don't mind actually doing it to him when he finally reaches a certain age. Because he's not yours.
Let's talk about Diddy's own mother. Yes, you read that correctly. A clip started circulating online of Diddy kissing his 83-year-old mom on the lips. He called her Mom Dukes, laughed about how she was single and ready to mingle, and even joked about taking her to a strip club. What? And just when you thought that couldn't get weirder, viewers pointed out she was rocking white nail polish. Now, if you've been following the deeper rabbit hole of this case, you already know what that little detail allegedly symbolizes. It's been brought up in connection to some dark stuff. Stuff we can't even repeat here without raising red flags. And yet, it doesn't stop there. Enter Gene Deal, former bodyguard, industry insider, truth bomber with nothing left to lose. She came forward with claims that flipped everything sideways, saying Diddy's mother ran a modeling agency, but according to her, it wasn't about fashion shows or catwalks. It was a front for escort services. You heard that right. Jean didn't just say Mama Combs was complicit. She claimed Diddy's own mother was present at the infamous freak-off parties, the ones people have been whispering about for years, the ones that now sit at the center of a spiraling scandal. This wasn't just bad parenting. This was an incubator of trauma.
Combs gave that stuff up a long time ago when she used to do her little modeling thing with her little ladies of the night, the little wild parties. When she gave that up, remember the time that him and his mama kissed each other on the lips?
Yeah, I remember that video.
Do you remember that both of them was getting an IV at the same time?
Yeah, I did notice that, yep.
That's from the Diddy freak-off party. And I'm gonna say allegedly.
So let me ask you this. You knowing her at one point, you knowing her personally, is she the kind of person that, you know, will be a part of a freak-off or no?
I think that she liked to party, and she partied with young people. She's always been like that.
a household that from the jump was allegedly groomed for secrecy, power, and exploitation. One commenter put it perfectly. She definitely always been a weirdo to me too. She probably tampered with him early on, and now it's all connecting Usher, Bieber, Cassie, Diddy's son, Diddy's own mother. You can't tell this is just a coincidence. It's a pattern, a monstrous orchestrated system that has been running for decades, hidden in plain sight. The dots are finally starting to line up, but people aren't giving Usher a free pass either. One user said something that hit different. I think Usher started out as a victim, but he definitely became an enabler at the very least. Let that sit for a second. They added, Justin Bieber is definitely a victim. You can tell by how he moves. As an adult, I just hope the full truth comes out and every person responsible gets held accountable. And honestly, a lot of folks are nodding their heads in agreement because the receipts, they just keep stacking. These aren't random rumors. They're pieces to a twisted puzzle, and each one reveals a truth uglier than the last. So now we ask the question that everyone's been dancing around. Is it too late for Usher to make things right? Or is this just the beginning? Is this finally the reckoning Diddy never thought would come? One that's crashing through NDAs, tearing down loyalty circles, and dragging every dark secret into the blazing spot. Only time will tell, but one thing is clear. Usher's decision to speak up, whether driven by guilt, pain, or pure survival, is setting off a chain reaction the industry cannot ignore. And you, what's your take on all of this? Sound off in the comments, because this isn't just tea, it's a full-blown investigation playing out before our eyes. If you're here for the real talk, no filters, no fluff, then like, subscribe, and pass this video along to someone who needs to hear what's really going down in the industry. Because baby, the next chapter, it's gonna shake the whole table. See you in the next one.